November 2025, the Ontario Arts Council announced that operating funding for Ontario arts organizations will now be administered through a program called the Ontario Arts Operating Fund. The introduction of the Ontario Arts Operating Fund is part of the work we've been doing to meet the strategic directions stated in our strategic plan for 2022 to 2027, Reset, Renew, Revitalize. We've also refreshed and expanded our performance measurement framework to make sure that everything we do, the programs we offer, the way we administer grants, how we set priorities for our investments, and what data is collected about the activities and organizations that OAC supports are all aligned with our organizational vision and values. You can learn more about this on OAC's website at arts.on.ca. But let's get back to the basics of the program. The Ontario Arts Operating Fund has 8 categories: dance organizations, literature organizations, media arts organizations, multi- and inter-arts organizations, music organizations, theater organizations, visual arts organizations, and francophone organizations. Organismes francophones. Each organization applying for operating funding is assigned a category, the one that most closely aligns with your mandate. And that includes organizations that may work across disciplines too. You'll be invited to apply to the category that makes the most sense for your organization. There are 3 deadline dates for the Ontario Arts Operating Fund: 2 in the spring and 1 in the fall. Dance, literature, visual arts, and francophone organizations will apply to the first spring deadline. Organizations applying to the second spring deadline include multi- and inter-arts organizations, media arts organizations, and music and theater organizations that have historically applied to a spring deadline. The fall deadline is exclusively for music and theater organizations that have historically applied to a fall deadline. You can find the exact deadline dates for your category on the program webpage. You'll be able to access your Ontario Arts Operating Fund application in Nova, OAC's online grant application system, approximately 2 months before the category deadline. Be sure to start your application well in advance and submit it early if possible, to avoid any last-minute issues. As always, the deadline is at 1 p.m. Eastern on the deadline day. The Ontario Arts Operating Fund uses a 3-year funding cycle. In year 1 of the cycle, organizations submit a comprehensive application that is peer-assessed. Year 1 is also an intake year for new applicant organizations. In years 2 and 3, organizations submit an application that's a shorter update to their initial application, which is then reviewed internally by OAC. Here are the categories that will be submitting a Year 1 application in the program launch year 2026. Dance organizations, literature organizations, visual arts organizations, and francophone organizations. In 2026, organizations in the other categories will be submitting a Year 2 or Year 3 application. Multi- and inter-arts organizations and music organizations are in Year 2. Media arts organizations and theater organizations are in Year 3. Here's a quick look at each category's 3-year cycle, with an emphasis on what year your category will submit a Year 1 application. To learn more about the Ontario Arts Operating Fund, such as the eligibility requirements and application details, visit arts.on.ca or send your questions to us by email at questions@arts.on.ca. Thanks for watching.